Hello, my name is Khadija. I am an educator and been in the hair industry for over 27 years. Now the question was asked, why would I like to work with Matrix? What stylists wouldn't want to work with Matrix as an educator? But the reason why I would like to work with Matrix, I been introduced to the product line 17 years ago, and I have been with the product line ever since. I love the SOCOLOR line, which is our permanent line. I work also with our demi line, and now I'm very familiar and falling in love with our semi-permanent line. So one thing that intrigues me with the Matrix color line is the arrays of pigments that you can get. They're very true. They don't process dark, which is always one of my favorites with working with the line. And I always get the great results when I'm working with Matrix. So being an educator and working part of the team will be great. I'm going to be amongst greatness that I have attended many of the classes and trainings over my 17 years experience of working with the product to get more knowledgeable on how it works. So to be a part of a great team, Team Matrix, will be an honor, and I will come as a student to learn as much as I can so I can be an asset to the team. Now I'm going to get into an inspiration that I created with using our semi-permanent line, which is our coat line by SOCOLOR. And I'm going to be using these three colors. And once I saw that this new line was out when it was introduced a couple of years ago, I said I have to see what it's all about. I think it might be a year or so ago, but correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, I fell in love with these semi-permanent lines. I work with 80% of my clientele that are chemically relaxed, and we use a lot of semi-permanents when we're creating dimensional colors on our clients. Many of our clients, because they're chemically relaxed, their pH is high, or the position of their cuticle is high, because we're already working with a product that's very high on our pH scale, level 14, when you're working with sodium hydroxide. So I like to use the semi-permanents because they close down that cuticle area and give more vibrancy and shine on the hair because they're staying in the cuticle as well as closing it down. So this technique I've used on my mannequin, as we have in front of you. We did the black drops by just adding a few drops in our formula to change and add more depth in each of the colors that we use. So the sectioning that we did on our mannequin was we did 5 panels, and we started in the front establishing pie-shaped sections. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections throughout our head. Now, you can create as many sections as you choose, but with this technique, I went in with 5. I went in first with our orange alert because I wanted to put emphasis in that front area. So I didn't add any black to it. I took it right from its tube and went in and made sure I put proper saturation. That's very important when you're working with the semi-permanents. You don't want to have any streaking on the hair, so making sure you probably saturate edge area with the semi-permanent to make sure you won't, in results, won't have any streaking. And what I did right at the tip, mid-shaft, almost close to the mid-shaft to the ends, I did a balayage technique of just adding a little bit of red in vertical strokes that create, we know with vertical strokes, they create softness on the hair. So we just add a little bit of personality by putting vertical strokes with our red hot. We didn't add any black to it, just going in with the red hot, putting our angle of our tint brush at a vertical, which produces softer lines. Now when we went to our next section on our mannequin, our next panel, and you make the choice on what panel you want to add more depth to, we went in with our red, but added a few drops of the black to the formula. Now, I will note, being blue is the biggest color pigment that we have out of our primaries. Black, it being used, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. And you always can add more to change up your depth. So if you're going in and you want it to be greatly contrast, you can add more black to your color formula. But when I went in to establish this section, I just added 1 to 2 drops to my formula, and this was the end result that I received. So as you go to your next panel, you can keep doing your options, whether you want to go with a balayage technique, ombre effect, is really your choice. What you as the artiste decides to do. And it's great when you have full range with your clients that have a trust with you that allow you to create many dimensions or whatever you like as the artist on their hair. So once we went in and did our application, making sure we did our best not to get the product on the scalp, because we know the scalp, the semi-permanents have a staining ability. So we got to make sure we do protective base around the hairline and do our best with our application to not get it on the scalp. We took a processing bag and put our mannequin under the dryer for 20 minutes, or you can do that with your client. Put them under for 20 minutes, and adding that heat will add even more vibrancy to your color. Once we went in for our rinse. Now the question might be asked, will it bleed? Will the colors bleed onto each other? The way to alleviate that is going in with a lukewarm to cool rinse to make sure that no bleeding will occur. We worked with two colors that are very close together in pigment, orange and red. So that wasn't a major concern. But to alleviate your concern, always go in with a lukewarm to a cool rinse to make sure that that can stop excessive bleeding when you're rinsing the color out. Then we followed with our Color Last conditioner, letting it sit on the hair for 1 to 3 minutes. The Color Last conditioner has a very low pH, so it creates even greater softness on the hair and conditioning agents that is needed because we pre-lighten the hair and we're doing chemical services on the hair. So the Color Last also lowers the pH, and it does assist with keeping the cuticle flat so your color has more lasting ability. Then we went in and blow dried the hair and went in with our flat iron technique, or we can call it a sleeking technique. And the product that we used in our sleeking was our exquisite oil. Our exquisite oil is made for all types of hair. It doesn't matter, all types of hair. Many people that have fine hair might have a fear of using any type of oil because they feel that the oil will weigh their hair down. The exquisite oil is very light on the hair, and the key thing I tell individuals when they're using product, sometimes it's not that it's the product that's weighing your hair down, it's the excessive amount that you're putting on the hair that's causing the hair to go flat. So always remember, a little goes a long way. So go in with just a few drops, emulsify it in your hands, and place it in the hair. And we go to your flat iron technique, so it gives a more organic and natural look of shine on the hair. All right. So now let's get into this cut. We did a basic 1 length bob in this cut, and when you're removing excessive amount of length of the hair, the go-to tool is clippers. I will note and say that, of course, when we're doing a client that's coming in for cut and color, we always go in first and do the cut. Then we go in and do our color. There's no need for us to go in and take long lengths of hair, color it, when we know we're going to cut it all off. So I went in before I even went in and colored my mannequin. I went in and took an excessive amount of length off of the hair before I even go in to remove more length off of the hair. All right? So I went in with my clipper because we're removing large amounts off of hair. So we started in the nape area, and we established our guide in the nape, making sure that the mannequin's head is straight up. We don't want it tilted back or forward because that will cause a change in our cut. So I made the mannequin head stand straight up, and I went in and using a comb of course, that's contrasting to the color. So I'm using red, so the black is showing contrast, so I'll be able to see my line or establish my line even greater. Now, if I was using a mannequin that had black hair, a white comb is greater for visibility for me when I'm establishing my line. So I go in holding my comb straight, and then I just follow with my clippers, creating that line where the clipper follows the comb, removing off that excess hair. All right? So we went around the whole entire exterior of our mannequin, creating that line. We did a off-center part, and with the off-center part, I did a slight over direction to the back on our right-hand side because I just wanted to create a little bit more emphasis because that's where we had our color placement. So I wanted a little bit more length and in contrast to it going on around. It's just a subtle amount. So we over directed the hair back out of its natural fall to just create a little bit more of length on our right hand side. So we also went in and did zigzag partings to add a little bit more mobility in the inside. So we did zigzag partings around the circumference of the head, going in, doing a little bit of point cutting to just add a little bit more movement in our bob. So this is our 1-length bob. And the products that I will send our client home with this process to keep the longevity of the color is our Color Last shampoo and our Color Last conditioner. This will keep the hair from fading. So these two products, our shampoo and our conditioner for Color Last, they will keep the color lasting because they're very low in pH and they stop it from having excessive fading of the hair. We know hair naturally fades regardless, but utilizing both of these shampoos and conditioner, that can slow down that process until it's time for our clients to come back in to get a touch-up of their color. Now, following this diagram will help us be able to repeat that same color that we established, and also the cut by going in with our reference points by either being the shoulder, the nape, the ears, what so have you, in order to go back and recreate this cut. I think this is a great look. I'm going to take my mannequin outside in its natural light so you can see great shine that was established by using this SOCOLOR line. I also like to add, with the SOCOLOR line, in comparison to other lines, you have 4 ounces of color in your tube. Hey, that's a lot for your money. So the 4 ounces is great, as well as the results that you will receive when you go in and do this color or use the semi-permanent color. I like it. I enjoy the new color that I'm working with to be semi-permanent. I'm hooked. I am a Matrix fan, and I will continue to be a fan with Matrix because, again, I like the results that I always receive from working with the line, and I love the education that follows where they teach you and give you all that you need to understand the product and to produce great reds, to produce great blondes, ombre, any technique that is needed for you to be a stronger stylist and know how to work with the Matrix product line. I hope this video helped anyone who would like to take the, utilize the technique. And I'll just go do a quick recap. Remember, a little goes a long way. When you're going in and you're adding the black to your formula, make sure you add a little at a time. Less is always more. You can always make sure in your formulation, if you want the panels to be very contrasting like I have on my mannequin, you go and you add more drops of black. If you want it to be less contrasting, you just add a little at a time. And make sure you're processing it under the dryer for 20 minutes. Make sure you're going also in with a cool rinse, and make sure you're following and sending your client home with our Color Last shampoo and our Color Last conditioner so it can keep the longevity of the color on the hair and stops the excessive fading that may come naturally or from any type of heat, flat ironing, and just even being out in the sun. That will naturally come with the fading of your client's hair when you're working with dimensional colors. I want to thank Matrix for giving me this opportunity to be a part or even to apply to the team. It would be an honor to work with such greatness as Matrix, and I hope you guys enjoyed the color. My name is Khadija. I am a Matrix fan, and I thank you for your time, for allowing me to show you the black drop technique and also working with the SOCOLOR coat semi-permanent line, also with our Color Last shampoo and conditioner, and also with our exquisite oil that is used on all types of hair to give a nice organic shine to the hair. I hope all is well. Take care.